What's up, YouTube? It's Ninja Turtle, and finally back. We're gonna wrap up the month with a couple of customs, and I just finished this Wonder Woman custom action figure, and I'm here to tell you about all the parts and pieces and how I made it. Just walk you through it. I kind of explain how she was created. Not necessarily showing you directly, but I'll give you the references and let you know how you can make your own. This was made entirely out of Marvel Legends parts with some custom sculpting and obviously paint. So you can do it. I believe you can do it. I can do it. You can do it. This was a really fun build, and I'm really happy how she turned out. But let's go ahead and start with, actually, we'll start with the accessories first. So we're going to focus on, really it's just her lasso and how they also hook on her side, how that came to be, and then we'll go into the more main body build of her. Alright, so as far as the lasso goes, this may look familiar to some people. So it's not really a great lasso per se. It's really an accessory to be an accessory, just to have something. But it is really just the belt from this black cat figure. So if you've seen this black cat figure before, and I know a lot of people don't really like the belt, in general the design of the character and this costume and the belt and stuff like that, I really like that in general. How it came out with Hasbro, I don't necessarily like how they implemented this figure. There's a lot of things I have gripes with. It's actually a very useful figure for my customs, but in general, I'm not going to nitpick this thing right now. This is the same thing that's her belt here. So I ended up sanding it down and trying to smooth out some of the roughness that you can see that's on the belt there. It's not perfect. I didn't get it like 100% down, but it is this belt, and just sanded down. I primed it and painted a thunder yellow with Angelus leather acrylic paint, and this is Wonder Woman's lasso. So it's nothing terribly special. I kind of wanted to make one out of plastic myself, but I mean, it's kind of hard to have something be dynamic and then actually make it out of plastic and it be a functioning lasso with braids and all kinds of details and stuff. So that wasn't going to work out. So this is a nice substitute. So I really dig that. Now, the actual part on her body, the hook, let's go ahead and zoom in on that. So the hook itself is plastic. I did make that, and it's just glued onto the side. It is kind of being held together by not just glue but hopes and wishes. It is strong enough because this is a very light lasso. It's not going to be too heavy of a burden for her hook to be on there, for it to be on the hook. So I don't worry about that. It's more of just in general posing and just touching the figure, that if I forget that it's there, or maybe I let someone handle it and they just try to yank on things, that thing's gonna come off. It's barely thick enough. Like, it's a pretty big, nasty, gnarly hook. Honestly, it looks really bad without the lasso on there because it's very, very noticeable. But if someone were to really pull on that, it's going to come off because there's very, very little surface area on there for that glue to actually hold on. But that's the best I can do. I mean, you don't want to make it look any bigger than that, do you? So it is what it is. For the rest of this, I'll just go without the lasso. But I do have an extra hand for her that is an open hand that she can hold the lasso if need be. It's just not going to look very lasso-like, but it is still something there for her to hold. Now, starting from the bottom to the top with most of my customs, in general, we're focusing on her shoes. These are just standard flat shoes that almost most Marvel Legend ladies have, but these particular ones are from a Lady Deadpool. Lady Deadpool already has red shoes. These are repainted, but it makes it easier because it's already red. That it helps just having that same kind of thing. And then I painted a white stripe down the middle. And what's great about this is that, at least my work, I should say, pat myself on the back, I didn't really intentionally line this up to be like in line. Like, I didn't paint it that way. I just kind of assumed, okay, this is the middle, and hope that it lines up, and it lines up near flawlessly. So pat myself on the back for that. Anyway, the rest of the legs here, all of it, the thighs, the knees, and the lower legs, are from Blink. So if you are familiar with Blink, these are the exact same legs. Now, there is a little epoxy sculpt going around to form the boot. So all the way around, wrapped around, just on the top part, not on anything else on the legs. So everything else on these legs are the same legs as Blink here. These are pretty much the biggest legs that fit on a average size body. Biggest thighs and the biggest lower legs, with one exception really, and I'm going to get into that very soon. But for the legs that I like to use, these are the biggest legs, and that means these legs pop on and off very easily. You don't need to heat them up or anything. They're not attached. You can just pull it right off. And those are legs I use on almost every single one of them. Actually, all of them that I've done, female customs, use legs in that fashion. So I like doing that. And these are the biggest legs that are available for that sort of thing. But now painted flesh tone, and we paint all the flesh tone on the inside of the torso as well. I like doing that in general to differentiate from a regular figure. But like I said, getting back to the legs, and it's not really the same legs, but these legs are way more muscular, but they're about the same thickness, they're the same roundness, but they are more toned. And I would love to use these legs for like Wonder Woman and Chun-Li. But you can see there's a pretty good height difference between Jocasta and Wonder Woman, and that's on purpose. So Jocasta's torso and arms and fists are Wonder Woman's here. So I did borrow those from Jocasta directly. So including, again, the torso. So it has all of this sculpt on here. I had to sand that off. So I removed all the paint and there all the stuff on the abs, all that sculpt there. Removed the paint and then sanded it off so that it's more like a regular torso. But it is the exact same torso and the exact same arms. And Jocasta has fists, which my Jocasta, this one is mine. I have her displayed with her little, whatever, weird hands. But I got rid of her. I'm saving her fists for someone else, Wonder Woman, and I have another Jocasta. I use these arms and fists for Wonder Woman here. But yeah, the torso itself is the exact same. So that gives Wonder Woman a much wider hip base than most of the customs that I tend to make, because I usually use a Kate Bishop, and especially in particular for Wonder Woman's height profile, she's about 6 foot tall and 165 pounds. So she needs to be taller than Jocasta. She needs to be taller than most conventional Marvel Legends. In fact, like even with my build, trying to get her in there. There we go. So she's taller than all of these characters. And the way I build them, I can build her on a slimmer body and be about this tall, maybe a little bit shorter, just a tad. But for the most part, I wanted Wonder Woman to have a little bit more bulk to her and more curves. There's very few characters that I actually want to have this Moonstone body mold on. Very few. And Wonder Woman is one character that I absolutely want to have all of those curves on. Just because I think she deserves to have that. I think she's just that type of character that has more bigger, bulkier muscle as opposed to lean muscle. So someone with the same type of profile like Captain Marvel, and there is a Captain Marvel figure that uses a Moonstone body mold. I don't like that figure at all, really, and I don't like that body mold for Captain Marvel, but I do like it for Wonder Woman. So they're going to look different even though they have about the same height and weight, if that makes sense. I do believe that women can be similar in height and weight, but have different body types. So my body type for Wonder Woman is curvier and bulkier, as opposed to Captain Marvel, I think, is slimmer, if that makes sense. So in general, that's how I'm going to have my future Wonder Womans. They're going to be on a Moonstone body mold. But like I said, very few of my customs will be on Moonstone body molds. And we'll have, I think this will be the only character that I'll make with this exact sort of setup, with the blink thighs, the Moonstone body mold for the torso, and the upper torso is not Jocasta or Moonstone body mold. The upper torso is a female Beetle. So one of the reasons why is because I like the chest, I like the breast size on the female Beetle a lot more than Lady Deadpool. I think they're more, they're bigger to me. But you could use, like, say, if you really wanted it, which, you could just use a Moonstone body mold. But one reason why I don't use the Moonstone body mold for this is because there is no neck articulation on this. It's just like the pin without, or the ball without an actual pin joint. So there's no up and down on using the head. And Jocasta does fix that issue. Jocasta does have a disc and a ball joint, but it would still make Wonder Woman too short if she would be about this height, and I want her to be taller. So this is again, I'm scaling about 6 foot 6'1", and this is scaling about 5'8", 5'9". So I want her to be taller, and she should be taller and bulkier and bigger. We're not talking about Rogue. She's not supposed to look like this either. That's a whole nother discussion. But either way, this is a female Beetle body mold. Or for the upper torso. So that does mean that there were points in there for the wings. I had to cut that off, and I filled in the holes with epoxy sculpt, so you can kind of see where that was in there. And also with my previous builds, like my original Miss Marvel and my Savage Land Rogue, they use a female Beetle upper torso. I have to change the pin in the neck because the pin in the female Beetle does not fit most conventional heads. So you have to switch that pin if you want to do the exact same thing that I did in using the female Beetle. Also, now that I remember, going back to Jocasta, I did use again this lower torso for Jocasta on this build, but I actually had to crack open this torso, which is something that I almost never do, but I'm starting to get into it more now. It was necessary because although it does have a pin in the hips here, and obviously a pin here in the chest or the stomach to go to the chest, it's really made for these legs and for this upper torso. And if I were to leave it as is, these legs, if I use these legs, they kind of would dangle really loosely on this pin. So I ended up actually switching, again, the pin in the hips and the pin in the abdomen with that on a Kate Bishop body mold. So something along these lines. I used like a body like this and took the pin out of these hips and the abs and switched it for what's inside of here so that I can make these legs fit and this upper torso fit. If that doesn't make any sense, rewind, slow it down. I had to switch these pins out of Jocasta so that this would work, basically. Now, going back to, since I already have in my hand Polaris. Polaris is present here for Wonder Woman's bracelets. So these silver things, they are removable. They were originally these things on Polaris here. Don't follow me now. Whatever these armband things on Polaris, that's what they were. So they were cut a little bit shorter and then sanded down, so all of these ribbings and stuff like that, that texture is a little bit smoother. So that took a little bit of time, but yeah, that is from Polaris. So You can see some of that detail there. Um, Maybe. Actually, no, you can't really see some of it. Yeah, some is visible a little bit there. But for the most part, it's just sanded down so to be as smooth as possible. Then primed it and painted it with more Angelus acrylic leather paint. This was sterling silver, and I absolutely love how that came out. By the way, her belt is epoxy sculpt on there with gold paint, and same thing with her chest symbol. That is more epoxy sculpt with gold paint, and as well as her headband with epoxy sculpt, gold paint, and red paint. And lastly, her head. We can focus on that now. So first off, her head itself is from the retro Black Cat, the brand new one that just came out with this, like, based on the animated series. It's on the retro card. It is that Black Cat's head, which, by the way, I believe is just a remake of the Miss Marvel and the Moonstone head. So, but it's more accessible now to get that Black Cat head. But this is a copy of the Black Cat head with some epoxy sculpt and repainted Wonder Woman. And of course, her hair, if you haven't recognized it by now, it is the one and only and absolutely lovely Polaris again. So this is the 2-pack Polaris, with 2-pack that came with Havoc, and down goes Wonder Woman. But yeah, the 2-pack Polaris that came with Havoc is this hair, and the only modification is, other than obviously being painted black, is that okay, she's just gonna keep falling, cut off this little piece of hair right there off of her head, and that's it. It's the only difference. So that is Wonder Woman, and I'm super pleased how she turned out. Like, she looks beautiful. My makeup, painting, and all that stuff looks pretty solid overall. I wouldn't say it's my absolute best work, but this is probably one of my favorite customs. And really, my favorite things are her boots and her arms, the bracers. Those look the best. I did paint her nails. On her fists only have one nail showing, but I got her weapon holding hand. Yeah. Here you go. Her weapon holding hand is painted as well with the nails, nail polish red. So let's get her back here. It will focus eventually, maybe, no. Oh well, take my word for it. They're painted. So yeah, so that's Wonder Woman, and I'm super happy with her. And I got one more custom to go over, and I got like another month in video for the month of March. Just going to kind of cover actually February and March, so the video will be coming up shortly as well. And yeah, make sure you let me know how you feel about my Wonder Woman. I did choose this big hair, this Polaris hair, because I want it to be more 80s Wonder Woman, more big hair 80s Wonder Woman. I do plan on making many Wonder Woman, so this is not the end here. So I'll probably not use this hair again. I'll probably use more straight hair. And what's nice about this is that, because as long as I can try to match this flesh tone when I do other Wonder Woman, I can take the head of another Wonder Woman and then swap it on here. So if I get tired of looking at her with this curly hair, I can take my next Wonder Woman and swap the head on, and boom, now I have classic Wonder Woman with straight hair as opposed to curly hair, or whatever I choose to do in the future. So I definitely do want to do a modern Wonder Woman with not, because this one doesn't have any weapons other than the lasso. So I want one with a sword and one with a shield and so on. I do want to do with a 90s Wonder Woman with the biker shorts. I know most people don't like it, but I actually really love that outfit. And then Star Sapphire Wonder Woman is a possibility, as well as Bombshell Wonder Woman. You know, lots of stuff. This is just the beginning. Again, super happy with even her chest and how that turned out. I think that looks really good there. Yeah, so make sure you subscribe. I got more Wonder Woman on the way, more customs on the way, plenty of stuff from DC, plenty of stuff from Marvel, video game stuff, anime, comics, whatever, pop culture things that I'm trying to do. Stuff that I love is basically what I'm making, because these are my customs. These are not commissioned. I don't take commissions. These are just for my own collection, but I have a wide range of things that I like. So hopefully at some point I'll cover your favorite video game, comic book, movie, anime character that is most likely female, because I also mostly make female customs with a few guys thrown in here and there. But anyway, thanks for joining me. Make sure you subscribe, comment, like the video, share it on your social media, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.